You've told me you've had people from schools, teachers, principals even, reach out to you, even locally. So talk about that, your mission to work with them to help them harden their school or make their school safer.
Yeah, I mean, there are clear best practices that the MSD Commission developed that we can institute in schools with very little money. That should be done immediately. That should have been done February 15th. I will help any school, any superintendent, any community member that wants to make their school safe. And I'm going to be traveling this country to talk about school safety. Because we can do better. There are great things happening around this country. Safe Schools for Alex is developing school safety best practices, and the rating system that we're developing to educate parents and community members in schools about how safe their school really is vitally important to getting that information out into the public so we can influence change on a national level.
Talk about Safe Schools for Alex, because that's really been your focus. Some of the parents have focused on things like gun control or leadership and policy. You're about hardening schools. I've heard you talk about after the Oklahoma City bombing, we hardened federal buildings.
Yeah.
After 9/11, we hardened the cockpits of airplanes. But we're not seeing the hardening of schools in the same way, correct?
It's been 20 years since Columbine, and we still continue to have children and teachers killed in their classrooms. So absolutely, we need to harden our classrooms. There's no reason why I'm safer going to the library than I am at a school. And a lot of the parents at the MSD meetings are upset about this because anyone could bring a knife or a gun onto campus and school personnel would have no idea. There was a knife just brought onto Piper High School campus and a kid got stabbed. So that's a focus of Safe Schools for Alex, is helping schools implement the best practices that the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Commission developed and recommended. The second area is creating a rating system. So when people move to a new area, they look at the schools and there are school ratings. Your school's an A-rated school or a B or a C-rated school. But what does not exist is a school safety rating. How safe is that school really? And so that's what Safe Schools for Alex is going to develop, because if we have a school safety rating system to educate principals, superintendents by using best practices to see how safe your school is, and then if that information can get to the public to see how safe their school is, that will influence change nationwide.
You have mentioned that you think there should be a school safety czar.
I view that one of the reasons why we've had no progress on school safety in the last 20 years since Columbine is because there's been no coordination on a federal level. We've had czars in the past for horrible tragedies. We had an HIV czar, a drug czar, and we even had a car czar in 2008 when Chrysler, GM, and Ford were going under, and that solved the problem. If we had one driven and committed individual, a school safety czar, to take the great recommendations that came out of President Trump's Federal Commission on School Safety, to implement those, I think for the first time in 20 years we could actually get progress and start to protect our schools. One of the things that I have been focused on is best practices. As I travel around the country, pockets of this country are doing great things, but the rest of us don't know about it. For instance, in Colorado, they have an app, it's called Safe to Tell. And so it's an anonymous self-reporting app because in a very, very high percentage with these murderers, they have something called leakage. They tell people that they're going to do this. And we did not have an app in Florida for kids to report his Instagram post that said he was going to be a school shooter. If we had had an app, maybe we would have had a different result here. But that's something that one state has that the whole rest of the country needs to have. That was one of the recommendations in the Federal Commission on School Safety. And we need to have a clearinghouse to have all these best practices, because the problem is schools, administrators, their focus for decades has been on educating our children. They're not school safety experts. It is a very, very daunting task to go out and become ballistic experts, door experts, access control experts. If we had a clearinghouse at the federal level to house national school safety best practices, schools would be able to get guidance and know exactly how to make their schools safe. And that's what I'm hoping the school safety czar will implement.
The commission recommended that teachers be armed. We know that that is something that the superintendents of the schools, most of them, and some of the PTAs have said they didn't want to happen. So part of the Aaron Feist Guardian program doesn't allow for that. But the MSD commission wants teachers to be armed. You were the one dissenting vote in that. Why do you not think teachers should carry guns?
I went to Israel several months ago, and Israel is an environment where they're constantly under threat. But what was interesting to me was they hadn't had a school shooting since 2006. So I went over there to see what Israel does to make their schools safe. And in my tour of their school system, they mentioned to me that they tried arming teachers once. They armed 14,000 teachers with guns to try to protect their schools, and what they found was that teachers were leaving their guns at home. They were leaving their guns in the bathroom, in the drawer. They were extremely nervous that bad things were going to happen with teachers being armed, and as a result, they took all 14,000 teachers out of their hands. I am a firm believer that there needs to be a good guy with a gun on campus. If you have a murderer walking down the hallway with an AR-15 intent on killing your son or daughter, the first thing I want is someone with a good guy with a gun to take that murder out and neutralize the threat. The problem is with a lot of our counties, in specific Broward County, they have not instituted the Guardian program to the full extent of the law. They don't allow principals, assistant principals, coaches to have guns. That needs to happen. So the problem is these horrible incidents are over in 4 to 5 minutes. Law enforcement is not going to get there in time. And this murderer on campus had an empty gun 5 times. 5 times somebody could have attacked him. If Chris Hickson had a gun or Aaron Feist had a gun, they could have shot and killed this horrible individual. We know the next murder is already out there. We know the next gun that he's going to use is already out there. The question is, when is it going to happen? And we need to protect our campuses to make sure, number one, it doesn't, and to limit the number of casualties when it does.
Sandy Hook was just so horrific, little children being killed. Why do you think it took what happened at MSD to finally, in some instances, make a difference?
People don't think it's going to happen to them. You know, Parkland was rated the 15th safest place to live in the country. But that's why I created Safe Schools for Alex. My mission this year is to travel the country to educate people, school districts, community members about what happened February 14th. Everyone needs to know what happened. They need to know the lessons learned and the best practices developed so that they can make our schools around this country safe. I know that Alex is with me every day on this mission, and I know we can do better.
This has become your new mission. I mean, you've quit your job. This is your new life's purpose, is it not?
I don't want to let these 17 beautiful people's death die in vain. And I know Alex is looking down on me from heaven, and he wants me to keep going and keep doing this. I won't stop. I'm going to keep pushing Broward County to fix the things that we know are broken and make our schools safe and protect our teachers.